on. Welcome back to another episode. So, if any of y'all saw a short video that I posted on the whole cat grader sitting here, asking y'all if we should pull it apart and see if it's fixable or if it's beyond repair. The old girl has been locked up for quite a few years because it was sitting out. It had cover over the exhaust and the cover blew off and we didn't know it when it got windy and blew the cover off, and it rained down in the exhaust and filled the engine up with water. So we did drag it around with, when we had a 1566 International, when we had that, we drug that around with that thing and it didn't make no difference. It didn't break it loose. We left it sit with, I think, diesel fuel mixed with ATF in those cylinders, and yeah, it didn't make a difference. So we then drug it around with, after a couple years of leaving it sit like that, we then drug it around with our IH 1086 that we currently have. And when we were actually dragging it up from here, because it used to sit over there on the other side of the pine trees, we drove it up here and the wheels just drug until it just started slipping the clutch. We drug it up here where it's currently sitting and we didn't do anything else with it. So I decided, you know what, I'm curious to see if we can manage to get it, you know, apart, see what it looks like in there, and see if we can get it running again. It'd be awesome to have this running. It is a pain to get around because it don't have power steering or nothing. So we did bring a couple tools along. It's not a very good selection, just, you know, what we had laying around. I didn't want to bring good tools up here because, yeah, this is what we're working in. So maybe we can get some sponsors and it'll help support this kind of stuff, because I'd like to do a lot more of this, but we'll see. But right now we'll use what we got. So I think what we're gonna do first is we'll jump up here and maybe we'll see what we have to do to pull the injectors out. I probably don't have that enough, the right stuff up here. I'm not sure what this gasket goes to. We'll just lay that there. But I'm not sure if I have the right stuff to do this. So I'll probably have to go down and get adjustable wrenches and stuff. At least get the lines off. We'll get the lines off. I'm gonna take this stuff off. Ooh. Get that stuff off and I'm gonna work at pulling the heads off here. So yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one. No guarantees that we're gonna get it loose in this video, but we'll see what we can do. The pony motor does have a pony motor that does in fact turn over, as you can see here. So my pap did take a lot of the ignition stuff off, so yeah, I have no idea where that stuff is. So maybe we can go about finding that stuff, but I kind of doubt it. But we're just gonna see if we can happen to get this here engine left loose. So I think that's gonna be enough talking right now. I'm gonna see what tools I have, see if we can get this off. I'm gonna set the tripod up and yeah, see what we can do. Fingers crossed that we can take the heads off and maybe use a wire brush on the cylinders. Hopefully they're not pitted, but they probably will be. But I'm just curious to see what it looks like in there, because she sat with a lot of water in her a lot of years. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting. So y'all stick around and we'll jump into here and see what we can get ourselves into. So what we're gonna do first, before we try turning anything here, because we don't want to break bolts off, because if we break bolts off, especially head bolts, yeah, that will not be good. So what we're going to do first, I'm going to use this here JB80. This stuff here works really good. So I'm going to go ahead and soak these bolts in some of this. It don't take much to do it. So I'm going to coat the valve cover bolts in it, and of course every other bolt then you have to take loose, because normally this here has a cover on it, but the wind kept blowing it off and we just didn't put it on last time it blew off. It wasn't all that long ago that it blew off, so. But most of the time the engine's covered. But the exhaust and stuff is in the cab. I have you guys sitting on the seat, so yeah, should work. So we're gonna go ahead and soak all these here bolts in JB80. Soaking in JB80 penetrating oil. We'll let that do its thing, and I think what we'll do first actually is see about pulling the head of the valve covers off. So I'm going to see if I have enough the right size sockets to do that. And pull them off, see how the valve train is looking. Never had this apart. The farthest it was apart is the exhaust manifolds have been taken off. That was just so we could get penetrating oil and stuff in there. Actually, I think. I'm not exactly sure why that the exhaust manifolds were taken off. So, might have been taken off so it didn't collect any more water. That might be why. So, anyhow, I'm gonna get the stuff. We'll crack these here valve covers off and see what the valve train looks like. Alright, so what we have here is a 3/4 inch socket. Gotta fix these, crack these loose. Oh wow, they came right loose. Already seeing some water. That is not good. Just here the valve cover and already found some water. Not a good sign at all. Not a good sign. You can see there's moisture inside the valve cover here. Not good at all. Not what you want to see. Alright, so this here valve is down. So this one's gonna have water in it. Oh boy. This one isn't open. This one's open. We're just stuck. I don't have a hammer. I need to get a hammer. You look in here, this is water. You can tell because of the way that it is. So, that is not good. Oh boy. But you can see this valve is down. These are probably down a little bit. This is probably down. This one here is loose. You can see because it does have a little bit of play. This one don't move. This one don't move. This one don't move because it's down. This one don't move. This one ain't moving. But I don't have a hammer to top the valves to see if the valves are stuck. So, yeah, not a great start. So, oh boy. Look, the water just puddling there. This is gonna be an interesting one, that's for sure. What is under this valve cover? Wow, a lot cleaner. A lot cleaner. That's what we want to see right there. You see we got this here valve cover off. Look at the difference. One we just took off. First one we took off. Look at that. That is water that you see laying there. This one, however, that is oil. Black, good oil. That is a good sign right there. So maybe we're lucky. Maybe these cylinders over here are fine. Maybe it's just one of these over here. Probably just one that is badly stuck. This valve is open. But when you look in here, it don't look like water went in the port. So, if anything, these two and this one. We'll see. We'll see here. Alright, so that one's tight. This one's loose. That one's tight. That one's tight. This one's loose. Tight. Tight. Loose. Tight. Tight. That should probably be loose, but that's tight. 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 Loose. That's fine. Not a good start here, guys. Not a good start. It is not what you want to see. That water is what you don't want to see. So what I think I'm going to work at now is I'm going to probably run down and get some stuff, and we'll come back and work at getting these here heads off. We'll probably just work at getting this head off. The problem with that is got all this here. That could be a problem. So we'll see here once. We went down, grabbed a hammer, a wrench pack, and a cloth. We're gonna tap these valves, see which ones are stuck, see which rockers are stuck. Hopefully there's none stuck. So that one moves. This one moves now. Yep, that one has play. This one don't have play yet. That one must just be pushing down. This one moves now. This one moves. This one moves. That one moves. Moves. That one moves. That one moves. That one moves. That one moves. Okay. All the valves move. That's good. That's what we want. I highly doubt that is the issue. Guys, the crankshaft is turning a little bit. I would be dipped if this was the reason. It wouldn't make sense. That'd be too easy if it was. I don't think it was. crankshaft is in fact turning a little bit. I don't have any way of getting you guys down here, but it moves a little bit back and forth. That's a good sign. Just a little update for y'all. So we got all the nuts off of this head, off the studs. The one stud came out, so that wasn't ideal. But gotta take this bolt out and probably one on the bottom there. We'll take them 2 bolts out and this will be free. And I got 2 nuts here to take loose, and of course I gotta get this here cable out. That's probably for the thermostat. Maybe, I'm not exactly sure what that's to, but I already got bolts out here. I just took this here cover off because that also went to this, and that was pretty ugly, as you can see. But that cover is laying right here, and yeah, pretty nasty. And there's some garbage that I got out of it right there. It just was like built up, so it definitely did not hurt to take that off. And all that was as a gasket for that was gasket maker, so we can replace that. And that same thing with here, you can see gasket maker there. Maybe, yeah, you can see there's a gasket maker there, a gasket here, so we could remake a gasket for that and make a gasket for here too. But hopefully we can get head gaskets, because hopefully we don't have to reuse them. If we have to reuse them, that won't be good. Hopefully they don't tear if we do have to reuse them, but you should not reuse head gaskets. But we don't even know if this is going to run if we do get it put back together. If we do get it loose and put it back together, we don't even know if it's going to run, so you don't want to spend too much money on it. So hopefully we can get it apart without the gaskets tearing for the head. So, and I did have to take the one push rod out here so it could get that nut off. I couldn't get in there to it, but yeah, so far so good. Everything seems to be going pretty smooth. There's all the bolts for it, or the nuts, studs laying right there. That don't have any rust on it, so that's a good sign. But all the injectors are loose. There was some water that came out of a couple of them, so yeah, that's not good, but it should be fine, hopefully. See if anything comes out here. Probably not. No, we'll go ahead and tighten that back up. But I'm not recording this because I'm not gonna bore you guys with taking nuts and bolts out, so I'll just update you guys as we go along here. I'm gonna continue with this, and hopefully we'll be able to get the head off. So fingers crossed that we can get the head off here smoothly. How bad could it be? Okay, so we got all the water and crap out, because majority of that, well, more than half of it, about 3/4 of that was all water. But it really does not look bad. And clean it up. It's definitely got some pits, so it would probably burn a little bit of oil, but wonder if we could probably get it cleaned up. I don't know. There's some pits there, guys. It's hard to show you here. There's some pits here. That's not good. You don't want pits in your engine. Can we turn it a little bit? I'm trying here, but no. Alright, guys. That is not cool. It's not what I wanted to see when I pulled the head off. I'm going to show you the bottom of the head here. So, I wish I had better lighting for y'all. But you can see them there valves, they're closed. That one is wide open. Well, not wide open, but it's open. These are shut. So that right there ain't good. Now I don't understand why it's stuck down. There must be a piece of rust in there in between the bottom of the valve and the seat. So this cylinder and this cylinder, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. So I think what we're gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna sit you guys down. I'm gonna continue with this. We'll pull this head off and see how bad they are. Now if it's just that one, you probably, if we can get it to turn over, we'll get that piston to go down. We could probably hone that, and we could probably get it to run. It'll not be good for the rings still. So I'm gonna sit you guys down. We're gonna go ahead and continue to get this one off, and yeah, we'll see what we're dealing with. All right, guys. Well, it's currently the next day. I went to update you guys yesterday on what we found, and the SD card ran out of storage. So got a different SD card now. So better run up here and update you all on it. So as you saw, we did in fact get the heads off. Got the head sitting here and the other one's here. This one goes on that side. And it ain't near as bad as we were expecting it to be. The engine does rock a little bit. I don't know. I'll try and show you here. You probably won't see it on camera. I'm trying to rock it a little bit. Well, I can't rock it with one hand, but the engine does move a little bit. So what we're gonna do, we gotta clean these cylinders up. I'll bring a better rag up here, but we'll clean these cylinders up, see what we're dealing with, and I'll probably take a 2x4 and beat the cylinders. This cylinder moves, this one does not move. This one moves, this one moves, but this one does not move. But this one moves and this one moves. So there's only two cylinders out of 6 that are not moving. But this one here might be the reason that's not moving. Because this one's got to go up, this one's got to go down. So that might have a little bit of rust or something. So I don't know. We'll work at cleaning each cylinder out so we don't get rust down in the rings. and then we'll take a 2x4 and beat on this piston, try and get it to go down. Then we can work at cleaning these up better. But yeah, I'm really shocked with the condition of it, because I figured it'd be like 10 times worse than it actually is. So the old girl has a chance. Not sure how much of a chance, but it has a chance. And these head gaskets are copper, so we can probably reuse them. So I will have to fix that. But you shouldn't reuse head gaskets, but we don't know if this engine's gonna run, so we're not gonna spend money on, you know, that kind of stuff to find out that it ain't gonna run. I don't see why it wouldn't run, but you know, other than having a little bit of pits, but just like to get it running. But right here's the plate on the side of the engine. The camera don't want to focus on it. I just realized that the camera was zoomed in. So right there's the tag. I don't know if you can make that out or not. There's one tag, motor grader number, and then here are the other numbers. So right there are the other numbers on it. So if you can make them out, drop down in the comments what model it is, because we'll have to probably get some parts for it. But anyways, we're gonna see what we can do with getting it running the way it is. Of course, we're gonna clean them cylinders up because we ain't gonna attempt that. But this does have a pony motor on it, so we gotta try and figure out where the ignition parts are. Here's a distributor cap, but I'm not sure where the distributor itself is. So yeah, I'm really amazed with the shape that it's in. I figured it'd be a lot worse. So yeah, I'm happy with it. Looks like it's a 9K Caterpillar engine, judging by that number. So see if I can show you all here. You can see it rocks. It does in fact rock a little bit, but I can't turn it the opposite direction because the blade or the belt slips. But once we get a 2x4 on that piston, one of the pistons, I think something will happen. So I don't know, y'all. I think that's gonna be it for this episode. Next episode we'll come back up here and see if we can get the engine to move. So this episode we got the heads off. We figured out how bad it is, and it does rock a little bit. So next episode we'll come back, see if we can get it to turn a full 360 degrees, and then we'll see how bad the cylinders are in, and see if it's worth putting back together and seeing if we can get her to run. So I'd love to hear this run. I am 16. I never in my life, I never heard this run. So that gives you an example on how long it's been sitting without running, how long it's been locked up. It wasn't locked up them full 16 years, because it was during my lifetime. Most of my lifetime it was turning over, but it just got water in the exhaust and that was the end. But we did, when we hooked to it with the tractors, we were pulling it, we did pull it forward and backwards and it didn't move, but the cylinders were full of water, so you can't compress water. So it might have tried turning backwards, but it was just hydro locking, and that might have been why when I took the injector lines off, that might have been why a little bit of water came out, because when I tried turning it, pulling it backwards or pulling it forward, whichever direction it had to go, when it did that, it just forced some of that water, because the water had to go somewhere, so it just forced some of that water up the injector. And yeah, so like I said, that's gonna be it for this episode. I know y'all probably would like to see it turn over in this episode, but that'll be next episode. Hopefully we can get her to turn over. So y'all stay tuned for the next episode. We'll come back, see if we can't get her turning over completely. That's gonna be it for this episode. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, copy link. You don't have to send it to anyone, and turn that notification bell on so you get notified when I upload. And we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out.